Hey, hey fellow teenagers. They're probably thinking, wow, this guy, this Alex, ridiculous. Well, hold that thought. Okay. Yeah. Hey, what about now? Hey! Hey! Who's ridiculous now? Hey. Right, today you join me again for another episode. Right? Okay. Of I've got to take these fucking glasses off. You're joining me again for another video thing, and today we're talking about a futuristic. I'm coming in with a futuristic death scythe. You know, like scythes, death scythes, like death scythe. Yeah, I've got a Trundleiza. Just imagine it now, rolling through life, making people's lives easier. You know. Now, let's talk about the Trundleiza. Let's talk about politics, because you know, it's no not misconception. It's no dispute, right, that lives can be improved with technology. Yeah, but maybe like you might have seen in the Victorian age, that technology was obviously used against the workers, and put a lot of people out of work. So you'd have a lot of like Luddites who'd go around and they smash up the place, right? So this technology is potentially dangerous. I don't want to sack a load of people off, because that's not what we want to do, is it? But it goes to show, we are, we're not the capitalist, marketalist, conservativist peoples. They're not doing us any favours. They are just complete parasites, and they will do anything to just sack people off. Like, I'm pretty sure, well, I'm very sure that, like, not only are they, like, bleeding the computer companies and the makeup companies and stuff, they will sell you as little as for expensive as possible, and they want you to buy it the next season and all this sort of thing. Like, and then they put technology in for them to break and all this sorts of thing, like Half-Life and that, and just generally their targets are maximum yield, or maximum sappage of sucking the consumer's money. Then it is like product quality. We know this. We know this. It's like as soon as you go into business, people think, oh, how can I cut corners? Really, don't they? They don't say, how can I give the best product to people for the cheapest price, do they? It's just not the damn thing. Maybe if you're trying to get hold of the market, but as soon as people do have a hold of the market, they start hoiking up the prices, get the hooks in you, right? Which is not what we enjoy as people. Now, if there was robots that did all the work for us, what would that say for the workers? We would all be at the disposal of the robots, wouldn't we? And we'd all starve to death. So, potentially, they're keeping us on in a sort of wooden spoon sort of thing, right? And they just pay us, cut the profits, and even like tax and stuff, that probably doesn't affect them, because they probably just factor in all that stuff into their prices, so they still meet their margins, which is just pushing even more strain on the consumer, right? So we're getting paid shit. We fucking have to work non-stop for potentially things which could be improved, and this has happened forever, pretty much since industry sort of took off, and then we end up paying the brunt of the cost as well, which don't make no sense. And they're just living the lap of luxury, don't even touch the stuff that we touch. They've probably got technology which we've never even heard of, foods which we've never even heard of, stuff like this, and it's a fucking just a spit in the face. And what are we supposed to do about it? Because there isn't any alternative, right? And we are just in the crux of fear continuously, because as I said, there's no alternative, right? So you're saying, well, why don't we improve the life or whatever? And I was like, yeah, well, we should, And there's lots of trundles, and this is what a trundle is, isn't it? A trundle is just a wheel on a stick, I think. Okay. I think so. You go, yeah, I'm trundling around like a lawnmower or something like that, right? Okay. So there's ways that we can implement these things in society, and I know of a couple, right? And you look at them and you go, actually, that makes a lot of sense. Why are we doing this massive system, unnecessary systems? But that seems to be quite efficient. But realistically, it's because it will put a lot of people out of work, and I don't want to be that guy. As much as I love work, I do quite like it. But I think you can see what I'm saying, right? So, if you are an alternative mindset, and we want to create the alternative and start taking away power from these people, because it's all possible. There's no reason we can't do this thing, because realistically, it's the workers that are doing all the work. So we can have all of that. And if we start cutting out, rich people, if we start cutting out the rich people, we can actually pay them more as well. I mean, that's just true. And then, if we start less focusing about the profits for the rich and more about, the applied riches that people, because I mean, realistically, if you're making something, right, say you're printing, you've got a 3D printer, right, that just endlessly prints products, and you go, well, I really need a doorstop or something in the shape of bloody, a foot or something, right? You'd go, okay, I'm print this thing. It prints the thing. Yay, I've got one. Oh, in fact, I've got one for every door in my house, And then you start selling them all this sort of stuff. Like, you don't really need anymore. And I mean, as long as your costs are covered, and what does it really matter to you? I mean, yes, you'd say, well, I want to get as much profit so I can move to the Zambezi and eat weird fruits and exotic stuff like that, which makes sense, I guess. But yeah, it doesn't really affect them. And provided that they could go to Zambezi and eat all their fruits and stuff, provided they want to be in Zambezi. But if you want to be in Zambezi, my friend, why don't you just fuck off? Go to Zambezi. Well, he's trying to. That's why he's saying his things. Right, that's not the point, okay? Let's not bring Zambezi into this, all right? Okay? Right. Fucking hell. Okay. But, the product is best applied and enjoyed by the consumer. So if we start moving away from this idea that profit is, a necessary thing that we need to do to, go to Zambezi or whatever, which will never happen, Squibs. But if I provide you a one-way ticket to Zambezi, all-inclusive for the major star prize tonight. No, mate. Well, yes, that would be great. But yeah, profit is in the application of the consumer, in a communal sense anyway. And, provided we can, everything's possible, things are possible for everyone. And, we want you to be enjoying yourself and your time, and we want your time to be the best affected, And these false profits, they don't come from anywhere really, and it sort of just fucks things up. Because realistically, I don't know, you probably could, your trip to Zambezi might be a bit cheaper, honestly. Maybe not. This is market forces and stuff like that, but things are possible. Everything's possible, and we want you to be enjoying yourself, really, not wasting your time, because there is a lot of stagnancy in the false economy of things, and Trundleizers, I am recording right. Trundleizers would just improve everyone's life, and more efficiency and producing things. Because realistically, if you can knock things out faster as well, you can produce things quicker, and that's what we want. We want the machine to be working for us, don't we? Pretty much. Obviously, I mean, this sounds pretty obviously paramount, but you might be kidding yourself to hear that we are actually all, not everyone, because this is another point as well. Some people have to work non-stop, or do they? Some people do have to work a lot more than other people. Some things can't be covered by machines, or as of yet, some things, a lot of things can't be done by machines. Okay, so how bad? Like, why would those people hypothetically want to be working while everyone else is just sitting back and enjoying the riches of the machine? Well, it doesn't mean that we couldn't, for one, all share jobs, the jobs which are available, and they could still be paid more than the machine jobs. And we also just, we get like sort of anti-tax from the machine. We just get the fruits from the machine, but if you want to get paid something, there's still jobs available, and you just share jobs and you're potentially getting paid to do less work than you usually would, and it could potentially be more enjoyable because there'd be more people there. It doesn't also mean that people don't enjoy doing the things that they do and feeling like part of community, because this is something that rich people don't necessarily understand, is that some people actually like to be part of a system and like to be part of a social structure. Do you know what I mean? Because if you're doing what you love, or you're helping the people that you love, or you've done something which you've always cared about, because most of the things which are available are desirable or respectable. So, a lot of people have a lot of like pride in what they do. And if they can have more people to chat to or help them out or to train, that's healthy, So, Trundleizers, yeah, come up with Trundleizers. Then think, instead of thinking, how can I exploit the market? Because there's a lot of exploitative people, and this is what I'm saying. There's so many exploits, that those exploits are holes that are easy to exploit. Do you know what I mean? Or reaffirm, anyway. So yeah, you need to be gearing less towards how can I maximize profits, and more towards how can I maximize application of profit and desirability. Really, that's what I think. Hmm. Yeah. Oh fuck it. I'll tell you one of them. Well, no, I don't want to. No, 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 I won't. I won't, because I don't. Seriously, this one is a big one. It's quite a good one, and it's actually potentially going to come out quite soon. A similar product. So fuck it. Yeah. Well, we will talk about it. And how about we say fuck them, right? No offense, Sony PlayStation, because this is about Sony PlayStation. I've always really liked Sony and PlayStation, and they have been slowly dropping off, right? And I don't know if you've seen the pictures of the new PlayStation 5, but it looks like a white piece of fucking shit. It looks like HAL out of what's it called? Space 2000 or something. 2000 Space Odyssey, I think, or sort of like a fan, or sort of like some evil robot or something from some sci-fi film, or like Portal or something. I've never played Portal, but you know what I mean. That's sort of like evil piece of fucking Roomba bastard, Roomba's evil cousin, right? Now the thing is, their new one, there was just two. They've got two of them. One which is a disc and one which is digital, right? And obviously they're trying to push people to move to more to the digital market. Now the digital market, I don't know if you've noticed, is more expensive than the physical market. And that doesn't make any fucking sense, does it? Because these things are not only profiting massively, yeah, but they don't even exist. They don't need. No one changes hands or anything. There's no need to change hands. Now, my idea of what a Trundleiza would be in this sort of market would be, instead of like there'd be warehouses and warehouses upon warehouses of fucking trade of all this sort of stock and stuff, which is a lot of people work in game warehouses and game stores and stuff like this. You'd go to a game retailer, right, and then you buy a license and they burn you the disc there, or whatever, or they'd have certain copies and they just have a machine licensed by Sony in the shop, load of blank discs, one by Sony, one by Microsoft, or whatever, and you'd go in and you say, "Oh, can I buy a license, or whatever?" And then they burn you a disc and you take it home with you. Yeah, and then you could give that to a friend, or you could sell it on yourself, or whatever, and that's sort of just the trade of physical applications and stuff. But you could see how that could really cut out a lot of, it doesn't need to be factories and stuff. I mean, you could say, "Oh yeah, well, people would clone these machines and they get fake machines," but I'm pretty sure you can still get bootleg games and stuff anyway. But that's just one example of like an efficiency thing, isn't it? But I don't know. The less power you take away from people in this world just means that more people just get screwed over, apparently. I don't know if that's the best Trundle. It's not bad, but obviously it's not great. It's the best thing. Yeah. Anyway, so let's just make our own game console. I mean, we've got the technology. It's mainly computer parts these days, isn't it? Computer parts. They might have their own software, but there's loads of people like to make games, don't they? So we could make a beautiful, hi-fi looking games console thing, and our own network, networks or something. We can just make homebrew games, and license them through something else, and we can make it eco-friendly and efficient and as cheap as possible, and potentially. By the way, non-profit, right, people? You know, I keep cracking up about non-profit. Non-profit still pays people. You can still get paid, and you can still get paid a lot. It just means that the company is not profiting, you know, and all those profits are going back to either the consumer or the workers, which is brilliant. And realistically, if I'm working as well, you know, I can pay myself if I wanted to, and then that network of the company and the consumer, you know, and there is that sort of communal spirit there. You know, you could reward people, and you could do prizes, and you could do holiday trips, and you could do like events and all these sorts of things. Yeah, and then you can put that money as well into other charities and other businesses and stuff, and your business can grow. You know, so technically, you're still becoming like massively rich. You know, but you're just being a bit more authentic and potentially tax-free as well. Because this is another thing, people. Tax, right, which comes from profit anyway, not the tax which you pay for the stuff that you use, because you know that's still pretty decent. And honestly, I'd think you should pay more because we want better stuff. You know, well not well, less but more, but you know what I mean. But tax that comes off profit, that profit isn't going from anywhere. As we said, it's not really real. So you know, if people get on like, I don't even want to go into it. I don't even want to go into it. It's fucking ridiculous. But yeah, trundles, everyone. There's probably quite a lot of them, and you know, hopefully we don't see everyone lose their jobs in the game industry because of digital technology. Yeah. And if they do, fuck them. Let's just fuck them off, honestly, because you know most of the people who like games have had to do long hours in shit jobs at some point in their life or other. Do you know what I mean? So Sony sort it out, change the attitude. I thought you're supposed to be Sony Entertainment, not fucking Sony plastic gimmick. Yeah, you know, I always had a lot of respect for PlayStation because it was like desirable and enjoyable. Just over the years, it's just got worse and worse and worse. So, you know, sort it out. Otherwise, we're gonna Trundleiza you. Right. Love you, everyone. Take care.